There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome live to 3Y TV tonight's broadcast of the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. We're in Scotland tonight, Knockhill Racing Circuit for the Dennis Wolfe Memorial. I'm Peter Short, and joining me alongside for tonight's action is none other than Andre Graham Bush. And Andre, great to be here at Knockhill in Scotland, a little bit different of a racetrack than what we typically see here in the National Sim Racing Association.
Oh, it's a lot different. I think even some fans of road racing might find this circuit to be unique in its own right. It's very short road course. It's only a little over a mile at about, I would say, 1.2-ish miles. So smaller than some of the oval circuits we're going to go to this season. And the lap times reflect it. Some of these guys in practice are down to 51-second lap times. You can see from these guys out on track on practice. It's a narrow circuit. It's fast. It's flowing. It's going to be one heck of an experience, as the number 8 has, an experience of his own right.
Yeah, Julian Tesoro smashing into the side of Martin Plute, who's been so good in that number 8 machine so far this season, and currently fastest of all in practice. You'll probably see that there's 46 minutes left in the ticker in the top left. That is not true. They had some server issues. They had to get things all squared away, so they had to restart the server. But we do expect that they will be going into qualifying here relatively shortly. So we'll keep our eyes on that. There's Philip Scott, currently the second fastest driver in the practice session right here on your screen, the National Ninja League Ford F-150, as he works his way through that very tight hairpin. And let's see if we can go on board with Philip Scott right here. Go for a lap around this very, very challenging race course here, Andre.
Yeah, this first part's really interesting. It's a downhill chicane. You've got a right, a left, and then another right, and you can see these guys are really eating those curbs. I mean, just driving right over them. They're not going to really damage the car like you might see from some of the curbs at the Daytona Road Course or some other places that a stock car might go. No, they can use these curbs pretty well. Coming down this back straightaway, they're going to be headed into a bit of an uphill corkscrew. It's a very sharp uphill corner. Can't really see where you're going, kind of got to take it on faith there, but then another really long straightaway into yet another uphill right-hander. This one actually a little bit of banking, so you can take this corner really aggressively, Peter. Look at how down onto the apex he really was and how much speed he carried.
Yeah, and you see the checkered flag falling here in practice as Philip Scott goes across the start-finish line to complete his practice lap time, and you see that little bit of an uphill corkscrew, as you called it right there on your screen. There is Philip Scott working his way now out there onto the racetrack. 10 minutes that these drivers get to put a lap time in. There's Julian Tesoro in the number 30 machine, a driver who's been very good so far this season.
Yeah, definitely been a contender and definitely was good here in practice. So we're going to keep an eye on that 30 all night long. But man, oh man, I still can't get over this chicane right here, Peter. It's so narrow, and it looks tight with one truck going through it. And when we get to the race session, we're going to have 2 rows of cars going through there, battling for position. It's going to be really intense as we go to our gyro cam, working his way down the back straightaway, a little bit of a left-hander, not a perfect straightaway, but into this banked uphill corner, and this is going to take him to the start-finish line for his first timed lap. And I'm expecting to see some 50-second lap times here, Peter. In practice, they were getting to about 50.6, 50.7, which is faster than I was expecting, but man, oh man, these guys are flying out there.
Yeah, of course, a little bit cooler temperatures as well. We'll bring that up for you on the right-hand side. That's the wrong button. There we go. 66 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. That is going to be nice and grippy for the drivers here tonight. Colder track temperatures usually means a little bit extra grip, and you can also see there's no sun beating down on the racetrack, as Julian Tesoro had a little bit of a moment there through that uphill corkscrew, now working his way through that right-hander onto this long curved straightaway into the final corner. Some passing opportunities here tonight, Andre. We heard a couple of these drivers say this track is very narrow, it's very bumpy. They thought passing will be at a premium here tonight, but these long straightaways will definitely aid in passing opportunities. Right here into turn number 1, that final corner right there is another passing opportunity. You can really set up a pass here as Tesoro all of a sudden gets all types of sideways there into turn number 1. He might have gone off track there. That might disqualify his qualifying lap.
And I'll tell you what, I would not be surprised to see some heroes try to send it in that chicane and use that for a passing opportunity, as well as the number 98 machine having a bit of trouble there. We're going to focus in on the number 5, who appears to be done with his qualifying effort. He's going to bring it to the curb, slow her down, and there's the number 17, Tristan Maher. Been on a bit of a roll lately, and now working his way through his qualifying lap. And I'll tell you what, Peter, they are flirting with disaster. If you get an off track, your lap time is done. I mean, it's just not going to count at all. And these guys are riding those curbs right there. You can see just inches away from that sand, but that's what it takes. I mean, you have to be right on the ragged edge if you want to find yourself on pole position.
Yeah, Tristan Maher currently is on the provisional pole position in the Eclipse Photography 17. Got the win 2 weeks ago, Andre. Backed it up with a podium last week, trying to keep that momentum rolling here tonight as he makes his way through the final corner, keeps that momentum through the hairpin and off onto the start-finish straight. They're going across the line. We'll see that Maher was about 0.9 of a second slower on lap number 2 for him, but nonetheless a really good qualifying lap time for the driver who has been absolutely on a tear here in the National Sim Racing Association Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. We do have Johnny Williams in the chat saying, good luck all tonight. Hello to the booth. Would have been there tonight, but I do not own the track. It's tough luck there, Johnny. For everyone in the chat wondering, first off, we have enabled subscriber-only chat. Why have we done that? Well, we've done that because we've had some spam bots in the past couple of weeks. We're trying to see if the subscriber-only mode will prevent those. So if you aren't already a subscriber here to 3Wide TV, make sure you do so you can be active in the chat here tonight as the racetrack falls mostly quiet. There's Stan Houseman, the Beer Street Journal.com F-150. He's out there on the racetrack. Of course, last week's race sponsored by BeerStreetJournal.com. He was actually not in the race last week, so Stan returning to the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series here tonight as he makes his way through the final corner. He's already got his 2 qualifying lap times in, so I think this one's just a little bit of a practice lap time. But that's a good call. Just get some extra practice laps. In fact, he's practicing pitting. That's not a bad idea either there, Andre.
No, it's a very unique pit road in that if you look there, we don't really have proper pit road stalls. So I'm not sure what the live pit stop situation is going to be. Maybe you can fill me in on that, Peter, but I'm not seeing pit stalls. I'm not seeing any crew members sitting on the wall. Very unique situation here.
Yeah, I think they will kind of get into their pit stalls like normal with a lollipop man, but I don't know. So that could be interesting to keep our eyes on here tonight at the Knock Hill Racing Circuit. There's Adam Dama, all the way from Korea. That's right, he races from Korea, further away than where this racetrack is located in the county of Fife in Scotland, not too far from Edinburgh. But Adam Dama goes a long way to race here in the National Sim Racing Association as he's stationed currently in Korea. That number 28 out there on the racetrack right now, working his way up and through the racetrack. Darian Caitlin in the chat with a 99-cent super chat. Thank you very much, Darian. I really do appreciate that here tonight. Thanks for tuning on in to 3Wide TV for tonight's action here on the road course. 52 laps was the scheduled length here tonight, Andre, and with about 51-second lap times, tonight's race will pretty much fly by.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a quick one for sure. Only 52 laps and very short lap times here. It's going to be a go-or-go-home race. I mean, you're either going to be aggressive and you're going to find yourself at the front of the field, or you're not going to be able to win this thing. A lot of races, we see a little bit more methodical racing styles. These guys have time to kind of plan out strategies and think about what they're going to do, but this is a short race. And with this track being as narrow as it is, and I think it's going to be a little bit difficult to pass, save for a few locations, this race is going to reward the most aggressive drivers in the field. And I think that even shows in qualifying, as we've pretty much got our qualifying order mostly set in stone. There's only a few drivers that haven't turned any laps, and those drivers, I believe, will not be turning laps, opting to start towards the back. But Tristan Maher, Julian Tesoro, Philip Scott, these are aggressive drivers. These are guys who love to get up in the action and just race next to people, with people, and just get aggressive with it. And they're 1, 2, and 3. Tristan Maher with a 50.4, Julian Tesoro about 4/10 back from him, 50.8, and then Philip Scott in third with a 51.049. So it's going to be, I think, a wheelman's race.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a quick word with Tristan Maher, driver of the number 17 machine, with the fastest lap time with 2:49 left here. Tristan, really, really good lap time out of the number 17 Eclipse Photography F-150 here tonight. What's the secret to getting around this place?
I don't know, Peter. Honestly, I think that was just a 1 in a million lap, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know. I have pace, I think, by myself, but I always seem to get a little nervous, jumped up when I'm around other people, so hopefully I can hold it together.
Well, you definitely have a good lap time and right where you want to be at the start of the race. How important do you think it will be starting at the front here tonight? We've heard some people say that passing will be at a premium tonight.
I think it's going to be extra important starting at the front. There's going to be a lot of... I feel like if you get kind of muddled back up in the pack, you're going to lose a lot of time to the leaders. So I think that that's going to be the key. It's not getting held up by traffic and putting in clean laps and not making any mistakes.
Well, definitely going to be a fun race here tonight. Definitely going to be different than what we have seen so far this season in the National Sim Racing Association. Hopefully you can keep your hot streak going. A couple of back-to-back podiums with a win 2 weeks ago. Tristan, do you think you can keep that momentum going tonight?
I hope so, Peter. I'm trying to make this a championship season. We keep doing what we're doing and putting together clean runs, everything will work out.
All right, well, we'll let Tristan go collect his thoughts prior to the start of the race, but right now looks like Tristan will be starting on the pole. Congratulations on that, Tristan. We'll see how it goes here in the upcoming 52 laps.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, well, we'll let him get back to his team. He said it was a 1 in a million lap time, Andre, but he's, I think, selling himself a little bit short here. He's got the momentum, and momentum can be extremely important.
Oh, it absolutely can be. But also, I can understand him being a little bit nerved up. When you qualify up front, that's a bit of a commitment because you know you got a full field of drivers behind you that want the exact position that you're in, and they're going to do anything they can to take it. And if you're not exactly sure how you set that 1 in a million lap, you're sometimes worried that you're going to get into that race, not be as quick as you were, and then suddenly you're going the wrong direction. You got guys jostling for position, pushing you out of the way, maybe even pushing you off track at a track like this. So qualifying that well, it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, obviously, he's got the best shot at getting into this first chicane and getting away from these guys. But also, if he makes a mistake, he's got the most to lose.
Yeah, he does have a lot to lose. Got to be careful getting towards turn number 1. Don't want to go off track right at the start of the race. I know I've done that before, locked at the brakes into turn number 1, off the track, and then you lose all that you worked for in practice. All right, let's see if we can get tonight's starting lineup up for everyone here on the screen, because it was definitely a great lap there by Tristan Maher in the number 17 here. Starting on the pole in the Dennis Wolfe Memorial, Julian Tesoro, great lap time by the number 30 machine. I know he had that pole at Rockingham, Andre, but he's looking for a little bit of retribution here tonight, starting on the outside pole. Philip Scott, Chris Darling on row number 2, Martin Plute, Vincent Valvano on row number 3, Jeremy Richmond, Adam Newton starting 7th and 8th here tonight. Stan Hausman will be rolling off 9th in his return to the series, and Jason Gracias in the number 1 will be rolling off from P10, Andre.
And looking a little bit further back from them to round out the rest of the field, we got Brock Salvati, and we have Matt Cherry making up the next row. Behind them, Adam Dama, Patrick Morrison, Stephen McDonald, Scott Tompkins. Scott Tompkins. Behind them, 17 and 18. That's going to go to Tyler Bellinger and Justin White. Now, I find it interesting, Tyler Bellinger qualified a little bit further back because in practice he had some good pace. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on him to maybe make up some positions early on. But with all 18 drivers, that should round out our starting grid. The only other drivers in here are the race control, so they'll be keeping an eye on everything and making sure that things go as planned. But they're lined up on this front straightaway and getting ready to roll out when they can. Martin Plute in the drivers chat says, does anybody know the Scottish anthem? I don't off the top of my head, but it sounds appropriate, Peter.
Yeah, we don't have that queued up here tonight on 3 Wide TV. That's for certain. Typically, we are, of course, just in the U.S., so a little bit of a shock to be overseas in Scotland, not too far from where one of my buddies grew up in Dundee. So kind of cool to to be overseas for a race here, and we'll get these drivers rolling here very shortly. It says green flag up at the top, but that is definitely not the case. In fact, let's just throw that up there in case that caution. So they're rolling, though, out there on the racetrack. They'll get one lap in here before we go green. It's not a long lap, 51 seconds under green flag condition. And Andre, you were telling me before the start of the race what the lap time here at this racetrack is in the iRacing Formula 1 car, and it's absurd.
Yeah, if you're in a Formula 1 car here and you're running some hot laps in ideal conditions, I've seen drivers take it as low as 38-second lap times, which is actually a little bit quicker than the real-life track record, which currently, as of 2018, goes to Heather Calder. She ran a 41.8, and that is the track record in real life, and I believe that was with a British touring car. So very fast lap times, but depending on the vehicle, absurd lap times.
Yeah, 51 seconds in a NASCAR truck sounds good. Well, I'll tell you what, I bet you these drivers wish they were lapping around here in sub 40-second laps. It's always good to go fast. That's what you want to do here in the National Sim Racing Association. Let's go check out the chat right now. Darian Caitlin also coming in with a super chat again, saying, let's go. Number 28, Adam Dama. Love you, babe. Thank you for that. And also rooting on Adam Dama is Johnny Williams, saying special shout out to Adam Dama in his Southern Motorsports ride. Martin Plute saying hello from the hills of Scotland. BeerStreetJournal.com in the chat as well, saying go Stan. Great to have you in the chat. BeerStreetJournal.com checking out all of the most recent news in craft beer across the US of A and sometimes worldwide. Green flag is going to be coming out here shortly. There it is. We're off racing here in Scotland as Tristan Meyer gets a huge jump already on the field. The number 99, and Philip Scott jumps along with him. We are single file through turn number 1, but a little bit further back. Look at this side by side. Adam Newton and the BeerStreetJournal.com number 99.
Whoa. He's off track. Philip Scott bleeding positions right now. He was in second place. Now he's back to 7th.
Philip Scott off the racetrack. Let's see if we can dial up a 3-wide TV replay, see what exactly happened to the number 99 machine right here. He had a great start, Andre. Here he is coming through turn number 2, snaking his way down. Late lunge by Julian Tesoro, and Philip Scott got it all types of wrong all the way off the track.
And I tell you what, he is probably pretty grateful he kept it off the tire barriers. Those things can act like super glue sometimes. You hit them, you get sucked in, and it's hard to get out of there, but he was able to get it back on track, no damage, so he's going to be able to try to make a recovery here, get some positions back, but that was a great move by Tesoro. He didn't do anything wrong. I think Philip Scott just got a little bit nervous, a little bit worried about that car to be inside with how narrow this track is, and just drove it in a little bit too deep, and that's the thing. You practice this track, and what you practice is you practice taking the racing line. You get your braking zone, you arc it down to the curb, and then you arc it back out, but you're not always going to be able to take that line. Sometimes you got to practice taking the corner a little bit wide and not being in the ideal line. Otherwise, well, that's what happens. So unfortunate start, but we'll see what he can do. A lot of racing left for him to stage a comeback here as we go on board. I believe this is with second place Julian Tesoro coming into this uphill right-hander. And ooh, more issues for the 99. Philip Scott, he's spinning his tires more ways than one. There he goes. He's going to get back on track. And unfortunately, in last place, we'll take a look at the 3-wide TV replay. Second issue for Philip Scott. He's getting through the second little kink there, and then coming down the straightaway. Looks like he's got a move planned on the 98. Gets in real aggressive, and there's some contact there that I think the 98 machine wasn't too happy about, Peter.
Well, let's see if we can get another look at that. And the 42 and the 28 having it coming together back there of McDonald and the 28 of Adam Dama, of course. Let's look at this one from high atop, the 3-wide TV blimp, which we've somehow flown over to Scotland, folks, from last week's race at Kansas. But look, 99 goes in deep, and there's that contact, kind of reminiscent of what we saw a couple weeks back at the Formula 1 Grand Prix. Now, we're also hearing now that Patrick Morrison has gone off the racetrack in the number 94 machine. See what happened to the number 94. Same spot where we just saw that contact with Philip Scott, right up here through the reverse chicane, uphill chicane, reverse corkscrew, whatever you want to call it, and he catches a piece of the tires.
Yeah, and he's having a hard time getting out of that grass, too. It's at an angle, which is never making it any easier on him, so A lot of action early on, but look at this. A move for the lead to Soro to the point in that number 30 Toyota. He's going to take the lead. He's going to have the 17 in tow. A little bit further behind him, I believe that's Martin Plute in the number 8. 1.6 seconds back, which sounds like a lot, but here at a road course, you can make or break a lot of time in each individual corner. So Martin Plute just kind of stalking these guys and actually running pretty well as he closes in on that last corner. But we got another 3-wide TV replay. Taking a look at what appears to be the 64 truck. Working his way into this right-hander. And just a little bit too much beans, as Carlos would say. A little over-aggressive, but he doesn't really lose much time. And it's like another truck with another issue. This time the 9 is at the 56.
That is the number 96 here, Brock Salvati, who went off in the same location, spun the tires, and ended up almost in the tire barrier. So we've talked about how this racetrack is not easy. It is bumpy, as we're back to live scenes up at the front of the field looking at Julian Tesoro as he navigates through the final corner to complete lap number 5. We've already had quite a bit of action in the opening 5 laps, but let's get some side-by-side action right now. A little bit further back, this is Tyler Bellinger to the inside of Stephen McDonald as they work their way through turn number 4, number 5 complex. And Andre, they race their way now down into the final corner here, but looks like the 21 Bellinger able to pull ahead. And here comes Philip Scott trying to recover from that early chaos.
And honestly, it's been a really good recovery. Remember, he had to drop all the way back to last place because when he spun off the track, he had a line of cars, no opportunity to rejoin, no break in the traffic. So no choice but to fall to the tail end, and now he's passed a handful of cars, and he's continuing to turn some really good laps as he is closing in on this next little gaggle of cars in front of him, the 21 right there. Look at that speed that Philip is carrying into the corner. That seems to be where he's making up a lot of his time, just out-braking these guys. Not so much faster out, just faster in, and that tells me he's got a lot of car control, Peter. He knows exactly when to roll into the brakes, exactly how much pressure to apply, exactly when to steer in. He's kind of on the back pedal right now, having a hard time early on, but with driving ability like that, I don't think he's going to be back there long.
So Bellinger able to get on by Adam Dama. Now here comes the 99 of Philip Scott to the inside of Bellinger. Good job by Philip Scott to pick up a couple of spots all in one go. And now you start to see a little bit of a freight train start to develop here on the front stretch, led by that number 99 machine. Up at the front, Tesoro now starting to pull away up to about a half-second lead or so. Now we got this battle happening kind of mid-pack. Adam Newton and Matt Cherry battling with one another. We got Stay Tuned Sports in the chat saying, let's go Matt Cherry. NewYorkStreetJournal.com saying, Stan drives like I do in real life, over dirt, over curbs, and occasionally to Victory Lane. We had Stan Houseman in Victory Lane last season, or 2 seasons ago now, rather, at Talladega Super Speedway. What was one of the most popular wins that I've ever seen here in the National Sim Racing Association. Adam Dama, though, let's go check out what just happened to the number 28 machine here, Andre, because he was racing back there with Stephen McDonald. We just left this battle a moment ago. Let's see what happened here to the 28.
So coming into this first little chicane, very deceiving corner, and it seems to be where we've had most of our issues. Just looks like he got sucked off the track by the curb there. He just got a tire over it, and then it just yoinked him down into the grass. I mean, but he was a good recovery. Back on the track right in front of the 96, and good heads-up driving by the number 2 and the number 96 to kind of be aware of what was going on and to give him the space that he needed to safely rejoin. As, speaking of the 96, there he is. Not exactly pointed the right way as of right now, but he'll get there. Back to the track. As we got, whoa, man. I believe that was the... actually, I'm not sure who that was, but somebody just jumped the curb there and kept it together somehow. That was impressive. That's Tesoro trying to continue to drive away with the lead here. Building up a bit of a gap, and oh no, the 21 and the number 2 having issues. I'll tell you what, Peter. These guys are giving us too much to look at. We're going to wear out these VHS tapes rewinding this much. Yeah,
we're going to have to go find a new JVC tape after this one because it really is going back and forth. Here's the number 21 machine in the final corner here, and too much beans coming out of the corner. And then watch the number 2 machine right here on the left side of your picture. He had too much beans right there. So both Tyler Bellinger and Justin White having a big moment. There goes Adam Dama, able to get on by back in the back of the picture. Let's go back to live scenes, and Adam Dama has again had a little bit of an issue. He now finds himself one lap down in the number 28 machine, riding in the 15th position. We already have a couple of drivers sitting one lap down. Julian Tesoro absolutely picking him up, laying him down. We're down to just 13 drivers. Tyler Bellinger is the last driver on the lead lap, and we have only completed 9.9 laps. It'll be 10 laps when we go across the start-finish line here in just a few seconds. But Tesoro really being consistent here, Andre. He started on the outside pole. I was a little bit surprised with that qualifying pace out of the number 30, but he's backing that up here on 3Y TV.
I'll tell you what, the number 17, to his credit, he's not letting Tesoro really drive away with it. Not yet. He's lingering about 0.6 seconds back as we have another replay. I'm so sorry, VHS tapes. We'll do what we can, but another replay here. Coming through the right-hander. 39 truck, just a little bit too heavy on the throttle, but what a save, Peter. That, as soon as he touched that grass, that thing had to be completely out of control, and somehow he brought it right back to the pavement, barely lost any time. That was a fine piece of driving.
Here's another driver making his return to the National Sim Racing Association Station Sports Podcast Truck Series here tonight. It is Chris Darling. He's stuck right now behind a couple of the lap trucks. That's Brock Salvati in front of him and Patrick Morrison as they work their way into the final corner. They're battling for position, and contact there between Brock Salvati and Patrick Morrison there going around in the back of the picture. Camera shot. We were almost 3 wide on 3Y TV at the road course.
With the way that the 99 blinked right there, not the 99, I apologize. The way the 96 blinked right there, it was right after his contact. I thought he got disqualified for contact points. I was feeling pretty bad for him, but it was just an internet connection issue. He's back in the race, so no worse for wear. But, oh, man, just a little bit wide and then some contact there. You can see there's the blink, and he rejoins in the grass, able to gather it up. But, man, so much going on across this small road course. Don't know where to look. I would hate to be a spotter in this race, trying to figure out who's where and what's going on. And I will say, though, for a lot of these drivers, if everybody's having issues, then nobody is.
Yeah, I think you could be sitting at really any corner of this racetrack and you would find something interesting going on, because Brock Salvati's now off the racetrack again. He's going to lose that spot to the number 94 machine. We're also hearing that the number 1 Jason Gracias has had issues. Matt Cherry has also had issues, and we're 3 wide down the front stretch. I didn't expect to say that here tonight, with the number 1 Gracias trying to hold off Philip Scott, who's trying to recover from his early mistakes. The 99 slots in front of Matt Cherry. Cherry now running in the 9th position. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to Jason Gracias and Matt Cherry. Here we go. This was the battle for position. They were racing with the number 29 machine just in front of them, of course driven by Adam Newton. And was there some contact here, Andre, as Gracias, you see brake rotors glowing there into the final corner, and zoink, there's almost contact, and then there wasn't any contact, but there was just enough to get them all types of sideways, and that was a great battle off towards turn number 1.
And that was one of those incidents where you can't assign blame. I mean, it was just 2 drivers barreling into the corner, and I think both these guys did everything they could to kind of keep that cordial, but just kind of came together, a little bit of a love tap, and then they were able to continue on. You'll have that at these road courses, man. It's so easy to overshoot these corners or to enter just a little bit too low, especially at a track like this. I mean, these guys, I'm sure they put in some practice, but even with the practice they've put in, they don't have that kind of instinctual knowledge of this track like they might Watkins Glen or Sonoma, regular NASCAR tracks. This is all new to these guys. So on board, and I believe is this live or a replay, Peter? What are we seeing?
This is a replay on board with Matt Cherry. He went off and did some rally crossing here. This racetrack gives you a little bit of everything, Andre. It gives you rally crossing. It gives you a little bit of pretty much everything, as the 99 of Philip Scott goes around right in front of the number 29 of Adam Newton. He tries to get it back going. All those positions that he had just gained, he just lost. He went from the 6th position all the way back to 10th in that single spin. And he's coming onto pit road right now. As you see at the back of the picture, here comes Julian Tesoro, your race leader, to put the number 99 one lap down, and Tristan Maher also coming onto pit road.
Man, that is heartbreaking for the 99. He was staging such an incredible rally from the back of the field, getting those positions back, and just a little bit too much throttle, and it ended it early. But here we go. So they are able to pit, and they don't have traditional pit stalls, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to eye out where they need to stop their truck, but they can take tires, as you see, as those drivers are doing that, which is probably good they can take tires, because I'd imagine there's more than a few flat spotted tires in this field, Peter. We've seen a lot of sliding, some through the grass, some through the asphalt, but these tires got to be screaming at these guys. We got another replay dialing up on 3 Wide TV, the number 11, Christopher Darling. Let's see what happens with him. He's coming down the long straightaway. That was... I don't know what that was. That seems like an equipment failure almost, Peter, like his wheel came disconnected.
Yeah, let's see if we can go on board here with his number 11 machine, and yeah, that wheel just kind of hooked all of a sudden, and that's a hefty hit, a hefty hit, and unfortunately that's going to take the number 11 to the garage for our first retirement of the evening, as Julian Tesoro has come down pit road, your race leader. You're looking right now at the new race leader who has inherited it. That's Martin Plute in the number 8, keeping all 4 wheels underneath them so far here tonight. And Andre, you might say that this race so far has been a race of minimizing mistakes.
Oh yeah, I said early on that this race was going to award aggressive drivers because of how difficult passing was going to be, but leave it to these guys to prove me wrong. I think this is a race of consistency. Like you said, whoever's making the fewest mistakes is having the best race out there, because these guys are having a rough go of an unfamiliar track, a very difficult track that was not designed with stock cars in mind, and we've just seen a lot of errors and mistakes and miscalculations. So for a driver like Martin Plute, who, and I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want to give this guy the commentator's curse again, but he's been having a really good night, and we haven't really seen too many mistakes out of him as he just brushes the sand there. And you know what, Peter, I'm just going to stop talking about him. That was a close enough call for me.
You know, they say we have the 3 Wide TV ray gun, and I haven't used it here in a while, but every once in a while we really do whip out the 3 Wide TV ray gun and cause havoc on these drivers. Hopefully we don't have that happen here tonight, as Martin Plute again gets a little bit slideways coming out of the final corner onto the front stretch, knocks down lap number 18 here tonight. And if you're keeping track at home, if you can make it 18 laps twice, that will get you in the pit window for the final pit stop, as we're hearing something has happened to the number 96 machine. Oh no, he's on his side. Uh-oh. And that will bring out a caution. Caution flag waves here, and that is going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out the field. Brock Salvati, what the heck happened here to the number 96 machine, Andre?
Well, we're fixing to find out. Coming through the little bit of a chicane here, riding the curbs, doing a pretty good job. He doesn't seem to have any issues down the straightaway, just a little loose over that bump. Kind of running through the grass, and just an unsafe rejoin puts him in the middle of the track, and several cars got a piece of that 96 machine. Ultimately just kind of turtling him over onto his passenger side door. That was a very strange incident.
And something here has happened, unfortunately, to the driver from Korea, Adam Dama, coming out there onto the racetrack. We're hearing that he has crashed. Went off the racetrack right here, spun it around. Any further contact here? Don't think so. He just took a tow back to pit lane. So not sure how this is all going to shake out. But let's see if we can join up with our race leader. There's Martin Plute. We're going to have to be mindful here, Andre, of trying to figure out who's going to pick up our Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award. We got a couple of drivers stuck one lap down as well. That's going to factor into play here in just a little bit. Martin Plute will be coming down pit road. We'll be on fresh tires. We're at currently 9 trucks on the lead lap. Stephen McDonald in the number 42, at least on my lifetiming and scoring, is in the position to pick up the Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award. There he is right behind Martin Plute, so we'll see whether or not that does indeed happen. See if we can give out one of those Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Awards, but I wasn't necessarily expecting to see a caution flag on the road course here tonight, but a truck on its side, heavy contact with the 29 machine was enough to warrant the full course yellow.
It absolutely was. And actually, we got a driver in the infield care center, it looks like. Chris Darling, driver of the number 11, who, again, took that very big impact into the tire barrier. Let's bring him up, see if we can have a word with him. Chris Darling, you got a copy?
I got you.
Well, Chris, you took a very hard hit right there, and it was a bit of a odd incident. Peter and I were trying to make heads or tails of what happened out there. Tell me about it from your perspective.
I don't know. Oh, man, I didn't even expect to interview. Was I in the wrong channel? That's all right.
You were in interview waiting.
Well, I don't know, man. You're racing around the track, and you got guys 6, 7, 8 seconds off pace, and they block you going into hairpins. They hit you. They run you off the road. So I'm just done. Just can't race with some people, and it's just not gonna work. So I don't know, man. I just had some wheel hop going on the corner and said just screw it, and it is what it is.
Some understandable frustration. Obviously, a very unfamiliar territory and a track that maybe wasn't really designed for these cars. Well, not maybe. It definitely wasn't.
It wasn't, but it's super. It's a super fun track to run. It's not a hard track to run at all. You just have to be patient. You have to. It sounds silly, probably people who don't know racing, but like you have to run slow to be fast. You can't power it up coming out of a corner here because of all the elevation changes. Because your truck will just spin and go crazy. But if you just be patient and take it easy on the throttle, like it's an easy track to run. Honestly, it might be just as easy as walking Flynn to run if you're just patient with it.
Road course racing can oftentimes reward patience. Faster or slower is faster, as they say. Well, Chris, we're sorry for catching you off guard. We've seen you in interview waiting. We thought maybe you just wanted an infield care center interview there, but we do apologize for catching you off guard. Before we let you go, it was an unfortunate race for you so far, but you've had a lot of speed this year, and you have a lot of speed every time I see you race in any kind of car. So what's the confidence like going forward in the season?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of at a part-time thing right now, if that. So I don't know. I think if I race, I sort of expect to finish top 3. Sort of where I'm at. But I mean, I don't know. Luck's just not been there. I've literally left almost every race just angry. So that's just where I'm at. But I don't know. I just want to give a big shout out to Justin White, Stan Hausman, Martin Flute, all the guys that help run this thing. They're doing a good job.
All right. Well, Chris, thank you for your time, and we hope things turn around for you. Maybe have some better races in your future. And whenever you do, there he goes. He is out of the booth. Looks like the lights have come back on the pace car, Peter. Looks like maybe an extended caution. I thought I saw him off just a moment ago.
Yeah, they're just going to get an extra pace lap in here behind the iRacing pace truck. But nonetheless, we're getting things all sorted out for this upcoming restart. Some drivers did take the wave around. We're back to now 11 drivers on the lead lap. We'll reset the field for you here briefly. Julian Tesoro will be your race leader when we go back to green flag racing. Second place will be Tristan Maher. Third will be Martin Plute, who just came down pit road. So fresh tires on the number 8 truck. That could be an advantage here because we've seen a couple of these drivers really sliding after a couple of laps on their tires. Fourth place is Stan Hausman. Great run so far for the BeerStreetJournal.com number 39 machine. We had Beer Street Journal in the chat a little while ago. And Beer Street Journal is where I go to check out all of my beer news. And I got to say, they were the place that I found out about the Bell's Brewery and them being bought out. That's where I found out about it first. And that is a tough one for me, being a big drinker of Oberon. Having them bought out is definitely something that I don't exactly like to see. Maybe it's the best thing, but if you're interested in beer news and you're like myself and into craft brews, go check out BeerStreetJournal.com here for all of their beer news that they have going on. Always a great place to check out and see who's releasing some special beers here across the nation. I found a couple there that unfortunately we can't get down here in Texas that sound absolutely scrumptious. And one thing that we did just get down in Texas a little while ago was Yuengling, and I had myself a Yuengling earlier. Oldest brewery in America. But looks like the iRacing pace truck lights continue to twinkle, so gonna go a little bit further here under this particular caution flag. Just checking out who we got, see if there's anyone else in the Discord here that we can quickly have a chat to. You know what? let's see what the pace car lights do. Pace car lights turn off. We will let Julian Tesoro get back to racing here shortly. But if the pace car lights turn or stay on, they turned off. I was going to say, I was going to interview Julian Tesoro, but we see something very interesting here, Andre. That's Adam Newton. Just fell one lap down in the number 29 machine. So that puts us now at just 9 trucks on the lead lap for this upcoming restart here, which will come on lap number 25.
So it sounds like, I've been listening in on the driver's radio. We've had a lot of issues trying to get the field sorted out. Nobody's really sure where they're supposed to be. So they were kind of sorting out wave arounds. That's why we had this extended yellow. But the field has been decided. There's still a little bit of disagreement going on between who should be where. But the admins decided we're going to go green. So that's what we're going to do. And it looks like a single file start, which is going to do wonders to keep this clean and green, hopefully, on this restart here. There goes the 42. Looks like he will be taking a wave around. Not sure how far around the track he's going to get before we get to the green flag here, Peter, but definitely have a better shot at it than nothing.
Yeah, so he was our Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award. I wonder if he lost the lap when he came on pit road after receiving that Lucky Dog. Not 100% certain, but nope, looks like the pace car lights have turned back on. So we'll go another lap here behind the iRacing pace truck. So looks like they're finally getting things sorted out. Beer Street Journal back in the chat. Great to see you there. We were just talking to all the folks at home and telling them about beerstreetjournal.com and what you can find on there as well. Go check out what they have. Their recent article is the Arches Bohemian Riot Pilsner. You can go check that out. 5.3 alcohol by volume, and really, really cool looking can that they have there, which will be in stores here soon. Not exactly sure about Arches Brewing. I've never seen them down here in Texas, but it sounds like it might be Georgia-based. So pretty interesting to see that, or either Georgia-based or North Carolina-based, one of the two, based on that. But if they're in your neck of the woods, but Beer Street Journal says he's working on a story right now on a collaboration beer with the band Blackberry Smoke. That's pretty cool. You know, I've tried the Iron Maiden collaboration beer. In fact, a couple of the Iron Maiden beers. Trooper, I really do like Trooper. If you can find Trooper in stores, it's got the Iron Maiden style beer can, and I think it's a fairly nice English bitter as well. But go check out Trooper if you have not already. But speaking of Troopers, the Troopers are back there on the racetrack, and they're about to do battle here at Knock Hill. As the number 30 of Julian Tesoro works his way through the hairpin, coming to see the green flag. The iRacing pace truck will peel off to the left. There it goes. Andre, we're doubling up here for this restart.
And the green flag is going to be a sight for sore eyes. I'm sure these guys got a little tired of pacing there, and off they go. Number 30 gets a good jump, but it looks like he may not get clear of the 17. Headed into the first chicane. Who's going to give the 17? Backs out of it is the number 8. Gets a great line. Keeps himself in the battle for the lead. They're going to double up again for the lead. Looks like the 17 maybe making a move, and too deep. He's in the grass. And he's going to have to get off the throttle, give a little bit of room to that number 30. And finally, he can breathe for just a moment, but not for long, because Maher with another great run down the straightaway. You mentioned that straightaway is going to make setting up an overtake a little bit easier on these guys, and there it was. He closed the gap a lot down the straightaway, now down the other straightaway. We're going to be heading into that very banked corners. We're nearly 3 wide. The number 64 truck just on that white line, straddling the grass and the pavement. He's able to keep it going. The outside of the number 29. Can he make a pass on the outside with that banking? He might. Yes, he does. What a move.
That was a good move on the outside. Tough to make a pass on the outside on any track, but especially there in that tight hairpin. A little bit further back, we're looking at Patrick Morrison currently running in the 14th position, side by side with the number 42, Stephen McDonald, who just got his lap back. Tristan Maher gone off the racetrack, and he's just lost the spot to Martin Plute. So the 17 running wide, he's fallen now back to third. Also now hearing that the number 2 of Justin White is off the track and pointing in the wrong direction here, Andre.
Unfortunate for the number 2. He's had a few incidents so far. We're going to take a look at the replay. And I think it's going to be the same song and dance we've seen a lot tonight for a lot of these drivers, and not exclusive to anybody. I think everybody's had a bit of a run-in, but right there's some help. Actually got the number 2 around. Wasn't so much a mistake as it was a little bit of a nudge. And with how narrow this track is, it does not take a whole lot to send you out of the circuit. He's back on the track. Here's the number 99, battling it out with that 39 truck. Looks like they're going to go into the chicane side by side. That's kind of scary, but they'll sort it out as he's on the curb. Matt Cherry looking to join the party as well. He's going to try to get around the 99 on the outside. Can he complete the pass? Yes, he can. It was a risky move, but look at that.
Yeah, that was mighty tight. I think Philip Scott had to give Matt Cherry a little bit of slack there as to not run into the back of the number 5. Now the 99 has a good run. Here comes Philip Scott looking to the right side. Now Matt Cherry, can he get on the brakes late here towards turn number 1? Let's watch those brake rotors, see if we can catch them glowing as they head towards turn number 1. No, we cannot. Not at least in that camera angle, but Philip Scott looks like he's going to complete that pass as they head down the front straight. There you see Vincent Valvano lurking in the wings, as well as Tyler Bellinger, who's now in the Brookstone Animal Hospital lucky dog position. If we get another caution, now Matt Cherry late on the brakes. Now the 99 goes sideways, and the 99 is around again. Philip Scott is not having a good night here at Knock Hill.
Well, in the words of Darrell Waltrip, sometimes you have a good night, sometimes you have a bad night, and he is having himself a bad night. Yeah, we're going to go on board here with Philip Scott. Yeah, maybe not, as we take a look at the replay here. Just a little late on the brakes, like you said there, Peter. And the number 5, classic case of following the guy in front of you. The 5 also broke just a little late there. Luckily, he was able to gather it up. He had a bit of a more preferred line, more room to make up that mistake. And, unfortunate for the both of them. But the 39 finally has a little bit of track to himself. Not too many trucks behind him. Oh, no! He goes around into the sand. That's going to be a bit of a painful recovery, as he's going to have to do a bit of a K-turn here, backing it up, spinning it around. Oh boy, it has been an action-filled night. The number 99, did we have another incident with the 99, or are we back to live? What do we got here?
We're back to live now after all the craziness of that restart. Sorting things out, as up at the front of the field, Julian Tesoro has again legged it out up to about a 3.5 second lead over Martin Plute, who's holding on to that second spot for dear life, with Kristen Maher trying to find that consistency again and find that pace that he used to start on the pole here tonight, trying to go for 3 consecutive podium finishes as well. Kind of would be in reverse order from first, second to third in consecutive races if he finishes where he's running right now. But he's trying to do better than that, trying to get around the number 8 of Martin Plute. Of course, Plute has been up there in the point standings this season as well. Been a really good season for Martin Plute. Started off with that win back at Daytona and got a second win, of course, last week at Kansas Speedway. Been besides, I think, that one race where he left early at Iowa. It would have been 5 consecutive top 10s to start the season for Martin Plute. Iowa being the only race he has not finished inside the top 10, as I think he dropped out just before halfway, was scored with a 20th place finish or so, but sits second in points entering into tonight, just 6 markers behind Philip Scott. And with the night Philip Scott has been having here, Andre, opportunity for Martin Plute to really pounce and take the points lead, as he's really pulled away from the number 17.
Man, an aggressive line through that chicane, but you're absolutely right. This is best case scenario for Martin Plute. The driver that he really needed to have a bad night is having a bad night, and he himself is just consistently clicking off laps. Maybe he doesn't have the truck to win. I think the number 30 is maybe contending for that title of fastest truck on the track, but still, running in the top 3, definitely made the fewest mistakes, I think, out of anybody. I mean, Martin Plute is just having a heck of a night. It's what he needs to do. You don't need to win every race. You just need to be there when it matters. You need to be in the top 5, top 10. Stack up those points where you can, and that's what Martin's doing. But riding on board with Vincent Valvano in that 64 truck, that's another driver who's actually been pretty consistent tonight, Peter. He hasn't really made that many mistakes. In fact, he's had some moments where we kind of thought he was going to go off track, have a moment, but he keeps it pointed in the right direction. He's been having a pretty good night as we continue to ride on board down into that chicane. I believe that's Matt Cherry he's chasing down a little bit further into that chicane. I just love this onboard shot of this chicane, Peter, because it shows you what these guys are dealing with. Not only are they some very high-speed corners, which I'm sure are a little bit deceiving. You know, they invite you to take them a little bit quicker than you really can, but it's also downhill, which is going to throw you off a little bit more. Is Justin White having more issues in that number 2 Grinds Coffee Pouches machine. Not been a good night for him either. It's been pretty rough. A little bit of battle scars to the side of the number 2, but he's going to keep going. He's got the tenacity to get there. Number 30 working his way down the chicane. So we got a bit of a battle here. That's a lapped car. Adam Gama going another lap down there. He gives him the position. We haven't really talked about lap traffic, Peter, but man, what do you do if you're a lapped car here? It's so narrow.
Well, if I'm a lapped car here, you just got to run your line through some of the tighter corners. Keep up the pace. Keep as much pace in that truck as you can until the leader's on your back bumper, and then you might be able to lay over on a straightaway or something like that as Dama lights up the rear tires coming out of the final corner. Adam Newton in the number 29 machine has also had some problems. Where is the number 29 machine? There he is. Slight off track for the Budweiser Toyota just a moment ago, but looks like he's back rolling. And yeah, as soon as you get a little bit of clean track to let the leaders on by, that's when you try and do so. You know, it's always one of those things where it's very difficult if you are the faster vehicle to predict what the car in front of you is gonna do. I mean, just think about you going down a highway at 70 miles an hour, and then someone who's in the slow lane decides to either jump in front of you or slam on their brakes. Either one of those is gonna be bad for you, right? And race cars, like these trucks, they're just going so fast that if something like that happens and you don't have time to react, it can be really bad in a hurry. I've had that happen before in multi-class racing, where someone does something you don't exactly expect, and it ends up bad for both parties. Here, though, is a driver doing something that we do expect out of him. That's number 5 of Matt Cherry, making a pass on the number 98 of Jeremy Richmond. That puts Matt Cherry back up into the top 5. I know Stay Tuned Sports podcast will be happy with that. Jimbo, haven't seen Jimbo yet in the chat here tonight. He was in the chat the other night here on 3 Wide TV for the Total Nonstop Racing League. Dominic Tesoro saying Julian comes from road racing, glad he's out front. Well, that sounds perfect for this type of racetrack. This is definitely a track that's going to suit those drivers who have more road course racing experience, because you get to learn how to attack the racetrack and really race the racetrack, and that's what Tesoro's doing here tonight. He's really attacking it. He's being aggressive, but at the same time, he's being reserved enough to keep the truck within the lines. He's balancing that truck, and it is a balancing act here as the number 98 giving a little bit of a nudge to the number 5 of Matt Cherry there through the final hairpin. Andre, these drivers putting on a pretty good show here mid-pack.
Oh yeah, these guys want every position. They know that they got to take what they can get, because at any moment there could be some sort of incident or something could happen. So if they can get out front and maybe get a few points, then that's what they're going to do. But that number 5 able to stretch that lead out a little bit as the 98 goes around. A little bit too much throttle. That's going to be a driver's side impact to the tire barrier, and I think he's going to be able to keep it going. Unfortunate. He had a lot of speed. He was contending with the 5 before that, but now he's going to have to rejoin, and that's the trouble corner, Peter. Every incident we've seen, just about, I'd say 90% of them happen right there in that corner. We're going to go on board with the 98, and you can see just up on the curb right there, and see that rear end kicking out on him, and he tries to counter steer, does everything he can, but that's the thing with these elevation changes. The truck wants to get so light, it wants to dance around on you, and I think in that kind of situation, there's nothing the best driver in the world could do to bring that thing back around. It's just gravity and G-forces at work at that point. So he's back on track just ahead of the 42, and he's going to do what he can to hold on to that position. The 21 also in the frame there, as well as the 29. So he kind of went from one battle to another. But look at this move for second place. Maher, the 17. Beautiful inside line there. And he's able to just sneak in front of the number 8, but man, that number 8 got a great exit, a little bit wider turn. Here's Philip Scott. He's behind Matt Cherry, still trying to rally through the field. This is going to be for 5th if he can get it. How many cars has this 99 passed, Peter? Here we go to the inside, down this long back straightaway. He's got the advantage. I think the 5's going to give it to him. He does. But will it be a crossover? The number 5 looks low, gets a little bit squirrely. Going to cost him some momentum. Philip Scott clearly into 5th now. That number 5, he's probably not going to give it up easy. We're headed into the high-speed chicane. Does he try to outbrake him? Let's find out. Passing that blue cone seems to be where some of these guys are braking, kind of using it as a marker. And the number 5 just a little bit deeper into this final corner, but doesn't quite have the exit speed. Philip Scott on a roll.
Yeah, this is the best battle for position out there on the racetrack as we are down to just 13 laps to go. And with 13 laps to go, we do want to make mention here tonight. It is the Dennis Wolfe Memorial. Stan Hausman, who was friends with Dennis Wolfe, who passed away with a bout of with leukemia, and was a great friend of Stan Hausman, former corner worker in the SCCA and IMSA, and had done quite a few corner work events. Big fan, of course, of motorsports, and unfortunately did pass away with that leukemia. So we all want to have this race in memoriam of Dennis Wolfe, and let's see if we can have about a full lap of silence here as the 30 of Tesoro goes across the start-finish line. All right, everyone, back 11 laps to go here at the Knock Hill Racing Circuit. You see race leader Julian Tesoro on pit lane coming into his pit stall. Bit of a surprise here, Andre. I did not expect to see this with 11 laps to go, but the 30 of Tesoro is also taking tires here. I'm also surprised by that. With just so few laps to go, I guess he really believes that tires are important here. Had to, I guess, put in a little bit extra fuel in that Toyota Tundra to make it to the end of the race. He pitted, I believe, on lap number 15 here tonight, so gets a little bit extra fuel. Do we think anyone can make it to the end of the race on fuel?
Well, I'm not sure if anybody can make it on fuel, but in regards to the tire situation, I was taking a look at the lap charts for that number 30 prior to his pit, and he is absolutely right. Tires are a big factor here. They are good for about 2 seconds a lap, which 10 laps to go. 2 seconds a lap, you do the math, that is quite a bit of time he's going to be making up. I would say more than what he'd lose by those few extra seconds on pit road taking those tires. So I'd say a good call, and I'm not going to question it. He seems to be the wizard of the wheel out here. I mean, just dominating this race so far. So if he's gonna make a call like that, I'm gonna go along with it.
Yeah, let's see if Tristan Maher and Martin Plude also elect to come down pit road. If you're thinking about math, well, you mentioned about 20 seconds, Andre. Well, currently, Julian Tesoro sits about 20 seconds behind these race leaders with coming to 9 laps to go. So definitely going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for Julian Tesoro if these leaders are able to make it on fuel. Tesoro, though, is running down Jason Gracias. We'll check on that battle right here on your screen. This is the battle currently for the 3rd position. Tesoro whipping around the outside will make that move into the final corner. One of the nice things that fresh tires gives you, Andre, is not only do they give you more lateral grip to get around the corner, they also give you more braking grip. That's one thing that is definitely a huge benefit when you put fresh tires on these trucks. As he catches up to the back end of Patrick Morrison there, got slowed up a little bit by lap traffic. He does not need that, as he has a big mountain to climb, about 18 seconds up to Tristan Maher, who is in the battle for the race lead right here on your screen. They're also closing in on some lap traffic in front of them. That is the number 21 of Tyler Bellinger, not too far in front, and in front of him is Stephen McDonald the only recipient here tonight of the Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award.
I tell you what, if these two leaders don't pit, which I'm expecting they will, but if they stay out, it is going to be extremely close whether or not Julian Tesoro makes it back up to him. He's about 2.5 seconds a lap faster than these guys, so he's definitely going to get there. The question is if he can make the pass. We'll have to find out. But number 8 and the number 17, this is good news for Tesoro as well. These guys have been getting closer lap after lap, just inching together. And I think you give it some time, they're going to be battling with each other, slowing each other down. But we had a moment with the 29. This is a 3-wide TV replay. Coming through the high-speed chicane, as we've seen so many times tonight. A little bit unsettled there, but he keeps it going. And then as he exits the chicane, too much throttle. Through the sand, over the pavement, into the grass, through the woods, over the bridge. I don't know.
And this is a 3-wide TV replay of something that happened while we were watching the 3-wide TV replay. Tristan Maher dives to the inside of Martin Plute. Plute had to check up there on exit as it got really tight on him. New race leader, the number 17 machine of Tristan Maher, as they're still locked up in a battle behind Tyler Bellinger in front of him. You see Maher doing all he can to stay off the back of the number 21. Is that going to give Martin Plute a run here into the hairpin? This is where that pass for position was made just one lap ago. No, Maher going to dive to the inside of the 21 of Bellinger. He gets clear of him, and now look at Adam Dama off the racetrack right in front of the race leaders. Your leader is able to dodge the number 28 machine. Now the 42 Stephen McDonald, is he going to play havoc here as we're down to just 6 laps to go in the Dennis Wolfe Memorial?
Every lap that goes by, the less certain I am these guys are going to pit. I think they're going to try to stretch it. Julian Tesoro not closing in as quickly as he was immediately exiting the pits. He's already seems to have hit a bit of a plateau, not closing in as quickly, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out as Martin Plute right up on that curb. The 42 holds up the 17 just enough. The 8 looking all over the track, high, low, trying to figure out where he can make a bit of a move, get alongside the 17, but it just didn't work out. Coming down the second straightaway now, heading into that banked right-hander. Is the number 8 going to drive it in deep? He does outbrake him slightly. Takes a bit of a shallower corner, and it works. He's back to the inside of the 17. Not able to get to the quarter panel. He got a worse exit than Maher and fell back to second place. But I tell you what, the pace is so close here, Peter. I don't think this battle's done. We're going to go on board through the high-speed chicane. The right, now the left, eating those curbs. And now back to the final right of the chicane. The 17 sideways, and the number 8 gets a shallow exit. That was bad for both of them. One driver makes a mistake, and so does the other. It evens out. Coming down the first straightaway here, it's going to be about 2 truck lengths between them. Into the right-hander. Man, oh man, the number 8 gets a good line, but not a good exit. Squirrely, and that gives some breathing room to the 17. Squirrely again on the straightaway. Man, oh man, that was a disastrous series of corners for Martin Plute. Headed into this right-hander, a lot further back now than he was earlier. Just overshooting it a little bit there, too.
Yeah, Plute now losing this lap alone about a full second on the back of the number 17, and it is much more difficult to gain that 1 second back than to lose it as Plute goes way off the racetrack. That's going to hinder his entrance into this right-hander right here. We're hearing that something has happened to the number 1 machine of Jason Gracias. We'll check on that here in just a second as Plute able to really push his way through that chicane up the hill. Philip Scott has gotten around Jason Gracias, so that has moved Philip Scott up into the 4th position. Let's see if we can see what happened here to the number 1 machine of Jason Gracias on the 3-wide TV replay. That's not it. There we go. There's the number 1 of Jason Gracias. Let's see what happened here. The MaxGrafix.com Toyota Tundra got squarely there on the straightaway. Same thing that we saw just a moment ago from Martin Plute. Then down into the final corner right here. Back end steps around, and he gets sideways, tries to spin it around quickly, but he's got Adam Newton coming through, and there goes Philip Scott for position.
Good heads up driving by both those guys, Adam Newton and Philip Scott. Both those guys able to kind of see what was going on with that number 1, able to get around on the outside there. Riding back on board, this is live with Martin Plute, and you can see that 17 is just becoming smaller and smaller in the horizon, getting further away. Seems to have a dominating lead at the moment. as the number 8 just sliding out of the corner. I think what happened here, Peter, is he was trying so hard to keep up with that 17. He cooked his tires. They're screaming at him right now, and they're not giving him the grip that he wants to get out of them. And so he's having to really baby this car. And right there, just a little bit of a late entry to the corner. That's going to take him up to the curb. Luckily for him, the leader did have a bit of a mistake in that corner as well, so didn't lose as much as he could have. We're coming to the line with 2 to go. Not much racing left. That's number 30, Julian Tesoro. The gap from him to second place, I should say, is currently 11 seconds. So I don't think he's close enough to close this gap in the last 2 laps. He's going to need something of a miracle if these guys make it to the end. But man, oh man, what a turn of events late into this race.
Yeah, Julian Tesoro probably going to be kicking himself for either not taking enough fuel in the one and only pit stop that they had here tonight, or just making a wrong strategy call. Not exactly sure. Of course, he pitted from the race lead, was, I think, hoping to bring down more drivers, but Tristan Maher and company, they have enough fuel. At least they're telling us they have enough fuel, because white flag is in the air. No BeerStreetJournal.com last call here tonight. We've yet to see our BeerStreetJournal.com last call this season. I don't think we've had a single green-white checker, as cautions have come at a premium. Maher coming up to the back bumper of Patrick Morrison there, the number 94 machine, through the first hairpin, able to keep it nice and clean. Now up through that sweeping chicane over the jumps. Really, that's what those big curves have become. Big jumps here tonight for these Truck Series drivers. Working his way through the penultimate corner, and Andre, he's just got 1 hairpin left to go.
Yeah, not much driving left to do for that 17. He can take it easy. Doesn't even have to work his way through the corner too quickly. He's got a huge gap in second place. Up the right-hander for the final time tonight. 17 is going to take home a road course win in Scotland. Man, oh man, what a drive it was. Something lit a fire under him at the end of this thing. As those lap times improved, that gap got bigger. Now he's got a checkered flag to show for it.
And Andre, when we interviewed him before the start of the race, he downplayed himself. I told you, he's selling himself short there, because he had the pace to get the job done here tonight. What a great job by Tristan Maher to stay out all the way to the end in the number 17 truck. Kept it nice and clean. And victory lane for the second time this season, joining Martin Plute as only the second driver to go to victory lane twice this season in the opening 6 races. So we've got double wins from Tristan Maher, double wins from Martin Plute, and Jason Gracias has gone to victory lane in the pole shootout at Daytona and at Homestead, Miami. Mike Tellier in the number 97, not here tonight. He got the win at Rockingham Speedway. So far, the winners this season: Plute, Gracias, Tellier, Maher, Plute, and Maher.
Becoming the second 2-time winner of the season. Not a bad title to have, as he's going to burn it to the ground here right in front of the start-finish line. He's got a few trucks bringing it to pit road behind him, but definitely reason to celebrate. It really seemed like the 30 was going to be the truck that was going to drive away with it, and I'm sure the field was thinking the exact same thing. So for that twist ending to happen and to be able to capitalize on that and take the checkered flag for himself, that's got to be exhilarating for Tristan Maher, winning the Dennis Wolfe Memorial.
Yeah,
some donuts there.
Yeah, getting those good donuts in here on the front straight, winning from the pole as well. There's nothing better than winning from the pole when you can look back and go, wow, that just kind of all went to plan, didn't it? You might not even have that plan going in, but Tristan Maher showing us how to do it, and doing a really good John Forrest impression here on the front stretch, burning him down, and I expect that engine to grenade here pretty shortly with this long extended burnout. We'll see whether or not that happens or not. You can see that, wow, really long stretch of tire marks there down the front stretch. I think Tristan Maher is going to be very happy with this win looking back at the end of the season, because it was not easy out there, Andre. It was a tough course. Yeah, I'm sure it kept all these drivers on their toes every single lap.
Hopefully the series officials aren't paying too much attention to these burnouts, because if they are, they may have their eye on this seemingly indestructible engine. Nope, there it goes. It finally blows after quite the smoke show.
Yeah, the smoke show for sure. Let's see if we can dial up some post race interviews. However, let's start with the driver of the number 30 machine of Julian Tesoro. Julian, Peter Short 3 Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, earlier this week, I think. Well, maybe it was last week. I can't remember now. It's been a long week. You said you hadn't got your interview so far this season. Well, you got your interview here tonight, finishing in third place on the podium here. I think the big question was pitting with 11 laps to go. Were you short on fuel?
I was, yeah. Yeah, I had a spotter, and I guess it just, it was he wasn't able to join the actual session, so it was a little confusing. But he was just kind of watching through the broadcast and just told me lap 40. Just pit on lap 40. So I just went with it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, unfortunately, unable to pull out the W here tonight, but don't fret. There are several other road courses on the schedule. We did have Dominic in the chat here tonight saying that you are a road course veteran here, and you got your eyes on the other road courses this season?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I've never ran this track before, but it was very, very fun. The elevation change is really cool. It makes it interesting, especially with the trucks being so loose in the rear. But it was difficult for sure, but it's fun.
Yeah, it looked like a whale of a time out there here tonight, jumping over some of those jumps. And I think definitely these types of racetracks are those where if you get your line just right, it feels absolutely amazing. Because there were some blind corners and some sweeping corners. It looked like a lot of fun. But hey, next week we do have an off week, so it's going to be 2 weeks before we're back out there on the NSRA schedule. Next race is going to be at the racetrack now known as Worldwide Technology Raceway. And it's gone by multiple names over the years. I think most people know that racetrack is Gateway. What are your thoughts about going to that track?
I've never been. That's in Michigan, right?
It's just outside of St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been. So this is, like I said, this is my first time doing any oval racing, any like sort of competitive oval racing. So all the tracks are fairly new to me, but I'm pretty good about just locking in, doing some practice runs throughout the week, and just gaining momentum.
Yeah, it's for everyone who's wondering at home, it's technically on the Illinois side of St. Louis, but you can actually see the St. Louis Arch from the racetrack. At least that's what they show whenever they're there on the TV. But Julian, a great run for you here tonight, and I know you've had a little bit of an up and down season with some highs and some lows, but hopefully tonight you can take away this one as a high. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give out?
Yeah, shout out Dominic, older brother, Tesoro Motorsports. Shout out Adam from Team Conti and EPI. The whole EPI team, really, they've helped me out through this process, just helped me out on the whole oval situation. But shout out Garage Welt for sponsoring the truck. Shout out Ryan Dingler for the livery tonight. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it with tonight's third place finisher, Julian Tesoro. Congratulations. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you, man.
All right. And of course, like we said, next week is an off week. It will be an off week for Memorial Day, so we can all enjoy that weekend with our families. But Andre Graham Bush has caught up with tonight's runner-up, Martin Plute.
Mr. Plute, you got a copy?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good, and it looks like you were too out there. I mean, just a consistent night. You went out there, you turned the laps you needed to turn, pretty much ran in the top three the entirety of the race, and just racking up points. Tell me about your night, man.
Yeah, it was good. I'm not exactly great at doing this. The right turns confuse me, but kept it on track, kept the tires under it for the most part until the end, and just kept it consistent. Not the fastest truck out there by far. Just kept it on track, stayed out of trouble, and it worked out.
That it did. Another good points day, and closing in a lot on a few trucks that you needed to get some points on. So just a great night. Now, I got to ask you, you said you're not too good at this whole road course thing. I'd have to disagree. You did a fantastic job out there, but With this track being as unique as it is, I got to ask you, what was the most challenging part of this track for you?
Everybody's gonna say the chicane, and the chicane's hard. But that long sweep, not really long sweeping, right-hander after it, the turn 7, getting the power down off that corner is the toughest thing I think on this track. It's where I ate my tires up at the end there, racing Tristan. I spun them about halfway down the straightaway there, so just killed the tires. So I think that's the hardest part there.
So you definitely showed yourself to be a contender at the road courses here, and we've got a couple more of them coming up in the season. You looking forward to going to some more road courses later in the year?
Yeah, I'm looking now. Watkins Glen, yeah, know that track. Chicago Street, never seen it in my life. So I'll have to get that and practice that here later. But yeah, it'll be fun. It's always different and fun to do these things. Not the typical, mile and a halfs that we run or short tracks. It's fun to do these every once in a while for sure.
Absolutely. So after our off week next week, we're going to be going to Gateway, or Worldwide Technology Raceway, as it is now known. A little bit more in your comfort zone. You said you don't like the right-handers. Well, that one's just left-hand turns, a bit of an egg-shaped oval, reminiscent of a bit of a flat Darlington, so to speak. What do you think of that track?
Gateway is my home track and my favorite track. So yeah. If I'm not entirely sure if I'll be here for that week. I got tickets to the race and maybe doing something there. But if I'm here, it's one of my better tracks. So I look forward to that always.
All right. Well, Martin, again, congratulations on your P2 and another good points week. Before we let you go, is there any shout-outs that you'd like to make?
Yeah. Thank you guys for broadcasting. It's always fun to go back and watch these. Beer Street Journal, MaxGrafix, everybody who puts on the league. It's a whole lot of fun. Stay tuned, sports. Go listen to Jimbo's podcast. It's always good to listen to. I'm learning about what was his basketball. I do not watch basketball, but I'm trying to get into it because Jimbo keeps talking about it. So go download that on your podcast player of choice.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Martin, and we'll maybe see you after the off week.
Yeah, see you in a couple weeks.
Martin Plute out of the booth, and now it's time for Peter Short to have a word with our race winner, Tristan Maher.
Yeah, I'm down here in Victory Lane where I believe everyone has come out wearing kilts. But Tristan Maher absolutely killed the field today. That's a terrible pun. But got the win here tonight. Started on the pole, and it didn't look exactly like it was going to be a win for you tonight, Tristan. There had to make a late pass on Martin Plute in the hairpin. What a great job here tonight. Walk us through it.
This race was crazy. First of all, this track's fantastic. It's really difficult. That's what makes it fun. All the elevation changes. At the end there, I felt like I was driving one of those go-karts that didn't have tires on the back, instead it had skid plates. Yeah, in the beginning of the race, I got off to a decent start, and then I made a mistake, and I sent myself into the sand pit. And then from there, I was kind of just trying to play catch-up, and I was racing Martin Plute for most of the race, after the caution especially. And then I think what came down to it is Julian, I think he navigated the lap traffic better. He was just better off the corners than I was. And then, after racing Martin for so long, Julian had about a 6-second lead or so. Julian went into the pits, and I was like, oh no. He literally made me scroll and check, see how much fuel I had. And I had enough fuel to go for it. So I don't know I don't know what happened to Julian, but I think this race was definitely his to win if he didn't pit there. But it all ended up working out for me. Good racing by everybody. Really good, etiquette by all the guys in the field. And then good racing to Martin too. We were around each other for quite a bit of the night. He did it. It was fun racing him for sure.
It looked like a lot of fun out there. It's some good hard racing, some tricky lapped cars, and overall. A tricky racetrack. What did you enjoy most about this track tonight?
The thing I enjoyed most about the track is how difficult it is. One of the things that makes it difficult is just the sheer elevation changes. Not even really like in the chicanes. Most of where I found this difficult is the elevation changes down the straightaways. If you were holding it full throttle going down the straightaways, like down the front stretch where the finish line is, I mean, you were spinning the tires even when you're going 130 miles an hour already. It is it's quite sketchy. Is probably the proper word for it.
Well, it's definitely not sketchy in Victory Lane, Tristan. Winner 2 weeks ago, and then, of course, got that podium last week when we went to Kentucky. We mentioned the role that you've been on. Can you continue that in 2 weeks' time at Gateway?
I'm hoping so. I'm gonna put in some practice. I think with the role we got going on, obviously I have a good chance of making the playoffs, and I think I got a good chance at making the run for the championship. Just got to keep this consistency going. Keep this Eclipse Photography number 17 truck on a roll.
Well, hopefully you can take that roll to the Illinois side of St. Louis 2 weeks from tonight, Tristan. But before I let you go, any shout-outs you like to give out?
Yes, got to shout out this, obviously, Eclipse Photography F-150, MaxGrafix for the awesome paint job. NSRA, fantastic league. Look them up on Facebook, join the Discord, get in on some of the action. You guys open the booth for sure. Do a great job on the broadcast. And I think that's all I got.
Alrighty. Well, Tristan, congratulations on getting the dub here tonight. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time here on 3Y TV.
Thank you, Peter. All
right, folks, that's going to do it with our podium finishers here tonight. But we do want to give an opportunity for Stan Hausman, who tonight comes home in the number 39 truck with a 9th place finish, but it was the Dennis Wolfe Memorial. Stan Hausman did know Dennis, and of course has named this race in his honor. So Stan, I want to give you an opportunity before we sign off here tonight to let us know a little bit more about Dennis Wolfe and what Dennis did for the motorsports community, and why you elected to name this race after him here tonight.
Well, I appreciate that. Dennis was a really cool guy. Believe it or not, met him as well as the owner of Beer Street Journal, Reed Ramsey. We were Atlanta Thrashers season ticket holders, but he had a passion for racing. So something that formed a kinship with a couple of other guys that we, believe it or not, tailgated for hockey games, and even started an ice hockey team for us old guys. But Dennis was about 25 years my senior, but he had such a young soul, such a cool guy. Like 10 years ago we were playing around in the infield at Talladega, and he was keeping up with me, like we were the same age. But he loved racing. He worked a lot he was a corner marshal for SCCA, IMSA, at places like Road Atlanta, at Watkins Glen, up and down the eastern seaboard. He was originally from Pennsylvania, so I believe they did some Mid Ohio as well when he would go out, and just such a cool guy. Unfortunately, he right before COVID was diagnosed with leukemia. Fought it and battled it throughout. What was going on with COVID, and recovered. And believe it or not, in January he showed up to one of my Falcons tailgates. It was the best surprise I had. Literally messaged me the day before, and he was trying to twist my arm and get us planning to go to the 24 Hours of Daytona next year. So all of a sudden the cancer came back at the beginning of April, and unfortunately it took him home at the end of April. But he was such a cool guy. He could get along with people 30 years younger or older. Just a laid back guy, a guy you'd love to have a beer with. Had a ton of stories. Talking about Paul Newman back when he used to race sports cars in the 80s and things along those lines. But so I figured it was fitting after he passed to name the first road course race for him and in his honor. And a bunch of pictures popping up. But 10 years ago, no, 11 years ago, we were at the Indy 500. He talked me into going to the Indy 500. So he just a really cool dude, and can't tell you how much we're gonna miss him, and his friends are gonna miss him, and that's about it. I don't. Just a little nod, in lieu of flowers. I think he would have appreciated the sticker on the side of the car and the road course race we were at.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a great race here tonight. In his honor, had us on our toes all the way to the checkered flag, as the NSRA usually does here. Stan, before we let you go, any further shout-outs you'd like to give out here tonight?
Nah, reading the guys at Beer Street Journal, you guys, for televising these things. It was an interesting race. We're already talking about, doing it again next year. I think we make some tweaks to the setup. We just basically used the Watkins Glen setup and came here. But I think it was a ton of fun, and good on the admin for thinking outside the box, not just putting Watkins Glen or Sonoma or something like that on the schedule.
Yeah, some really good road courses this season that I'm really, really excited to broadcast, and tonight being one of those. And Stan, thank you for all that you do for the National Sim Racing Association, and of course we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Gateway Raceway. But definitely have a good Memorial Day weekend here next week.
You do the same. Thanks, guys.
All right, that is Stan Hausman in the number 39 machine. Of course, sponsoring tonight's race for the Dennis Wolfe Memorial in memoriam of his friend. But it is time, folks, to bring up our final race results. Andre, why don't you take it away?
The final race results for the Dennis Wolfe Memorial. Tristan Maher brings home the win in that number 17 machine, becoming the second two-time winner of this season. Then you got Martin Plout behind him, the other two-time. He's there in P2. He was 8 seconds back, but he gave it all he had, and it was a great run. Julian Tesoro, bit of a strategy call that came back to bite him, and still finished third. I think that tells you how good of a driver he was tonight. Incredible podium finish for Julian. Philip Scott had probably the most wild night we've seen. Made a few mistakes. I think he raced from last place back up to the top 5 more times than I can count and brought it home fourth. Beautiful drive by Philip Scott. Vinny Valvano brings it home in the top 5, and just outside of them, you've got Matt Cherry, Jason Gracia, Stephen McDonald, Stan Hausman, Tyler Bellinger, Adam Newton, Patrick Morrison, Justin White, Adam Dama, Jeremy Richmond, Christopher Darling, Brock Salvati, and Scott Tompkins, I believe, was race control. So Brock Salvati rounds out your field.
Yeah, 17 drivers taking time here tonight at Knockhill Race Circuit in Scotland. Great to go across the pond for one of these races. We've done it before here in the NSRA. We used to go to Japan every season to Twin Ring Motegi to race on the oval. That was always fun to go to. But I believe that this is the only racetrack this season, minus the fictitious race, of course, at iRacing Super Speedway, that we will go outside of the U.S. of A. But definitely a fun one here, Andre. Hope you have a good Memorial Day weekend next week. I know that's, for those fans of motorsports, always a very big day with the Indy 500, historically the Monaco Grand Prix, and of course the Coca-Cola 600, World 600, whatever you want to call it there in the evening. Looking forward to that. But Andre, also Gateway in 2 weeks should be another good race.
Oh, it'll be a blast, and same to you, Peter. Enjoy your Memorial Day, and make sure you take advantage of that race. And again, greatest weekend of motorsports. But that is going to do it for us here at 3 Wide TV. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully this was a race worthy of Dennis's memory. And I'm sure, hopefully it was a race that his friends and family enjoyed watching. And I didn't know Dennis, but in the motorsports world, we're all a family, and when one of us hurts, we all hurt. And I'm just glad that his friends and family were able to put this together and get it named in his honor. And it was a great weekend, Peter.
That it was, folks. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe and all that good stuff. And we shall see ya.